There's a kind of faith that feels warm. It comes with signs, momentum, little confirmations that say you're on the right path. And then there's the other kind, the kind where nothing responds, nothing changes, and silence becomes the only answer you get. If you've ever kept going without reassurance, I used to think faith meant believing things would work out, that eventually effort would be rewarded, that consistency would be acknowledged, that patience would lead somewhere visible. But that version of faith depends on feedback, and there came a time when feedback disappeared. No progress, no relief, no sign that the ground beneath me was any more alive than before. Just silence. At first, I treated it like a test. I told myself, this is temporary, that something was happening behind the scenes, that clarity would arrive if I stayed disciplined enough. But weeks passed, then months, and the silence didn't lift. That's when faith stopped feeling like confidence and started feeling like exposure. Because without reassurance, you have to face a harder question. Why are you still doing this? Not what you hope will happen, not what you want from it, but why you're still choosing it when nothing is answering back. That question stripped away a lot. It removed the fantasy of reward, the comfort of eventual validation, the idea that someone else was keeping score. All that was left was whether I could live with myself if I walked away. And that's when I realized something uncomfortable. A lot of what I called faith was actually expectation. Expectation that life would respond fairly, that effort would be mirrored, that integrity would be recognized. When those expectations collapsed, faith had to stand on something else, something quieter, something less impressive. I began to understand that faith at its core is alignment without evidence, not optimism, not certainty, just choosing not to betray what feels true even when truth feels unrewarded. There were days I questioned everything, not angrily, honestly. I asked whether staying kind was worth it when kindness didn't soften anything, whether staying honest mattered when honesty complicated things, whether love was practical in a world that seemed to reward hardness. And every time I asked, I waited for an answer. None came. So, I started listening differently, not for solutions, but for resonance. I paid attention to what hardened me and what didn't. I noticed that every time I imagined giving up on love, something inside me closed. Not painfully, subtly. And every time I chose love anyway, even without enthusiasm, something stayed open. That was it. Not a sign, not a breakthrough, just a quiet noticing. Faith, I realized, isn't believing in outcomes. It's refusing to become someone you don't respect just to survive uncertainty. So I kept walking, not with confidence, with consent. Consent to remain open, consent to remain honest, consent to remain human in a world that doesn't reward that immediately. And that kind of faith doesn't make life easier. It makes it clearer. You stop asking when things will improve and start asking who you're becoming while they haven't. If you're listening to this and you feel like you've been faithful without seeing any return, you're not doing it wrong. You're just standing in a place most people avoid. Faith without reassurance isn't loud. It doesn't convince. It just keeps walking without proof and without bitterness. And somehow, that's enough to keep the door open for whatever comes next. It's like walking through a snowstorm at night. At first, there's chaos, wind whipping, snow hitting your face, every step loud and forced. Then suddenly, you pass through a stretch where everything goes quiet. The wind drops, the world softens, no traffic, no voices, just the sound of your own breath and the crunch of snow under your boots. It's peaceful, but unsettling. Because in that silence, there's nothing to distract you. No noise to hide behind. No motion to blame. Just you your thoughts, and the weight of what hasn't been said. That's what that silence felt like. Not relief, exposure. When the noise finally stopped, there was nowhere left to run. Every doubt spoke clearly. Every fear echoed. But so did something else. Resolve. Silence didn't crush me. It revealed what had been there the whole time. The part of me that was still walking. Silence isn't empty. It's honest. And sometimes it's louder than noise because it tells you what really matters when nothing else is speaking.